my name is Chrissy Clements. Everyone watches accesstv.org.
This week we have the lovely, the beautiful Tiffany Archibald, Senior Director of Health and Wellness from downtown Hartford, YMCA. Welcome to Let's, before we go into the nitty-gritty of the questions, I want the viewers to know who you are and what you do.
Okay. I am the Senior Director of Health and Wellness at the downtown Hartford YMCA, and basically within that I run all of the and coordinate and develop all of the health and fitness programming, nutrition programming, establishing fitness goals, group exercise classes, which is huge. We have an excellent group exercise program down at the Greater Hartford YMCA, whether it's spinning or it's yoga or boot camp or Zumba. So I'm coordinating all of that and managing all the staff and, you know, keeping the members satisfied.
Now, I know there's about 27 or 28 Ys in the whole of Connecticut. How many are you actually running?
Well, I used to run the Wilson Gray YMCA. I was actually there when we opened our doors. I was hired maybe a month before.
That's the north of Hartford?
Yeah, that's the north end of Hartford, yes. So I did that for about 2 years while also running the downtown YMCA. And so then under our new leadership of James Morton, he split the leadership roles. And so now I'm primarily at the downtown Hartford YMCA. But we have branches out in Plainville, Farmington Valley, Ellington, so our association is pretty big.
All right, now I need to start going into some of the things that the why of what you really do. Do the Y hold classes for teenage girls, which MC Square, that's what we really do. We deal with, you know, truancy and dropout, but we also have a special class or division just for actually teenage girls. Do you do anything with that?
Yeah, we have several programmings geared toward, you know, teenage girls. One, we had actually received a Pioneer Health and Communities grant, and therefore we had focused on health and fitness programming for Hartford High School students, and specifically we took that population and targeted on the nursing program. So we had a lot of young women in that program who are obviously going into the field of nursing and education and health, so we felt as if that they needed that firsthand experience of, you know, being healthy themselves and being active, because unfortunately, you know, the generation right now, they're not as active as we would like them to be and that they need to be. We also have a Footlights Performing Arts program, and so they've been around for a while. They've been around for a while, but they've been connected with the Greater Hartford Association for the past few years. So with that programming, we also have, you know, workshops that we hold for them on healthy eating, on fitness. They get memberships to work out and things like that. So
no, they're in the dance, right? They're dance and
it's dance, it's choir, it's drumming, it's acrobats, it's you know, hip hop dance, jazz, ballet. So it's different forms of dance along with other performing arts areas.
Well, since you said that, I'm actually been talking to your boss for the last year and a half, and I'm trying to actually position MC Square into something that is different and forthcoming to something what Hartford really needs for inner city kids in Hartford, but that's sort of down the road. But let me ask you this. Now, suppose that MC Square came to you and said that we had 30 girls and we want to do something that in obesity, or something that is actually that some of the girls had ADH. What could we do with that?
I mean, that's pretty much, you know, my niche.
Right.
As far as obesity, we will hold workshops for them just to educate them, because it's one thing to get them out there and they know why working out and they know kind of the benefits of what working out will, you know, produce for them. But more so having those workshops and sitting them down, and whether it's, you know, on the weekends, whether it's after school, you know, a few days a week, but just making sure that we hit, you know, different times to, you know, work with their schedules, because hopefully they're in other extracurricular activities. But in those workshops, just really educate them on statistics that they may not, you know, in health class they may not pay attention, or they just may not be educated, you know, in their homes about healthy eating and, you know, the long-term effects of sedentary lifestyles at such a young age, and why it's important to be active, and, you know, just the basis of nutrition. So those are some of the topic areas that I could just, you know, think of off the top of my head that I would hit each week with them as a sit-down topic. And then we can go 3 to 4 days a week and have a physical component, and obviously hitting every area of the body and focusing on the cardiovascular piece especially. So,
do you guys sort of expand into health and wellness, but also the educational piece for if kids are failing?
Oh, definitely. The Footlights program has a tutoring portion of it, and so we have tutors from current teachers to grad students to students who are doing their student teaching in order to get their teaching certification. So those are held every day that they have performing arts classes. Those are held, you know, at different times in that block of schedule, so that the students are getting the educational assistance they need.
Now, how long has that been going on?
Since Footlight has been at least at our facility.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the last few years. Okay. Let me just look at this one now. Is that if we're looking at health and wellness for teenage girls, there's any projects coming up in the future that maybe MC Square or any other organization in the Hartford area can actually participate and help out?
As far as teenage, you know, with it being the end of the year and the upcoming schedule, I can't say, you know, offhand specific programs, but there's always something. There's always you know, we just had the ING race where even though it was for adults, they had a children's component, and I would say probably 20 schools in the Hartford area, they came through and they participated, and the kids got the experience of going through what it would be like to sign up for a marathon and register, and they had their own little, you know, 5K run and things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let me just throw this at you. What I like to do really with the Y and myself is not so much actually do a marathon on a race, but maybe something bicycling, or something that is geared towards something of kids that never been in a race, never been in a marathon or something like that, that is forgotten. And this is something that I actually look at all the time, that when I talk to people out there, I says, geez, you know, we have kids actually going to school, but what about the kids that have actually dropped out? What can we do with that?
As far as fitness programming, or as far as in general?
In general, because the thing about it is, I know you guys expand beyond the borders.
Right.
I know you guys are always looking for new ideas, because when I spoke to Mr. Morton, he's always looking for creative ideas.
Yes, he's very innovative.
Right.
So I'll talk on the education piece. Not a lot of people know we do have a adult literacy program called Read to Succeed. Okay. And it's part of the Downtown YMCA, and it's been part of the Downtown YMCA for almost 15 years now. Okay. So that's something for people. That
started under Mr. Washington.
Yeah, some of the people who have, like you mentioned, dropped out of school and things like that, we can help them with preparation for their GED, preparation for, you know, just starting back with the basics of their reading skills. Right. And then as far as different events for, you mentioned bicycling. This year, March 2nd, will be our 3rd anniversary, and I am, you know, proud of bringing into inception the Mission in Motion Cyclothon, and that's basically where we go around. We have different companies, you know, that are donating, different businesses that are raising money for our Strong Kids campaign. And so last year, for example, the Footlights program came out. The students were able to help with registration. The students were able to help sell raffle tickets. The students were able to meet the Attorney General. Our CEO was there, but more importantly, a lot of the local health companies and things like that, they sponsor bikes for the kids to ride during this event. So it's a 4-hour cyclothon where you're, you know, riding on the stationary spinning bikes. We put them down into the atrium of the Excel Center. We have the DJ. We have about 10 instructors. They're rotating. I mean, it's live. So that's something, an event that can expose them to seeing, you know, I know when they're in the YMCA, they see the spinning room, they see the classroom packed, but I think it just awakened their eyes to something different, and it's a health component, and a lot of them were just on every other bike. So that's an example of something that, you know, we could have them involved in.
Well, we're going to take a little break, pay some bills. We'll come back and we'll ask you some other questions and the future of where we're going.
Okay.
All right? We'll be right back. Thank you.
How do you judge a law firm's success? Cases won, money made, or what the firm does in the community? At Dressler Strickland, we know that success is just the beginning. The true measure of success is what you do with it. For 33 years, we've used our success to help our neighbors and our community. 24/7, 11/22. Whenever you need us, we'll be there. Dressler Strickland, building communities one case at a time.
First we read, then Cocoa Key. What time is it? Time to read!
It's always time to read. Make Education and Hartford Public Schools declare reading a team sport and award a fun-soaked celebration at Cocoa Key Water Resort to the school with the most books read. Your achievement level is displayed by Make Education Time to Read wristbands.
Motivate, stimulate, educate.
Make Education makes it fun. Puerto Rico Discovery Month. Did Columbus realize the enormity of his discovery? The art, the history, the literature, the people, the music. Puerto Rico Discovery Month. It's for everyone to enjoy.
Welcome back to Education One. We have Tiffany Archibald, Senior Director of Health and Wellness from the Downtown YMCA. And coming back to you, Tiffany, we spoke about the girls. We talked about what the Y is doing. We talked about actually membership. We talked about partnership. We talked about some of the things that the Y and you guys are doing. The second half I like to view is to see who really Tiffany Archibald is. You know, her ambitions, her goals, where she wants to go in the next year or two, if she wants to hang out with me or whoever in my projects. But the thing about it is everyone has ambitions and aspirations. And this is something I always ask everybody. What do you want to do for the next 3 years?
I will keep it centered on, you know, professionally, you know, with the YMCA and kind of what I see envisioning going forward. Not a lot of individuals are aware of, well, it's coming kind of into the mainstream, but I am a certified holistic health coach.
Okay.
And just taking that component, taking my education, taking my experience, and really making our community more aware of the health issues that are running rampant. And I just think the education piece on getting people to understand that holistically it's more than just about the fitness aspect. It's more than about the eating aspect. Those are completely utterly important, but there's other components to what we call the circle of life. So that's your, your social environment, your emotional relationships, your spiritual, connections and things like that, and just helping individuals become complete, helping individuals become that whole person that we all are intended to be here, while we're spending our time here on this earth. So just taking that holistic health coaching and helping people, especially in the Hartford community, understand what that is and how they can, start to become whole as individuals. That's something that, yes, other Ys and other fitness facilities, they have nutritionists, and that's great, but that's the dietary aspect. Dietary aspect is very important. I have that in the bag, but I want to make individuals aware of just how to become complete individuals.
Because where you work at, when I bring your name up, the first thing look at it says, she's a beautiful person, she's a lovely person, and I tell everybody it's not so much of how a person glows, is their overall aura. When you come off to people, you can feel the warmth, and I told Philip Kane and a few other folks is that when both of us are from the Bronx, one guy told me is that I'd rather be well loved than well fed, and when you're well loved, it's like a magnet of people. When I sit down and watch some of the things that you do, and I've been upstairs a million times of where you work at, and I know a tremendous amount of people where you work at, I always ask, I say, where's Tiffany? Well, Tiffany's running here, Tiffany's running there, and you're always helping people. When I see you with your, I call it the 90210 crew, there's a ton of women, all beautiful women. You are the leader of the group, because they won't move unless you move. But I asked you this personally because the thing about it is, I know that the way you are right now, and I'm not bragging on yourself, you can go a lot further. And I know you can. I mean, you can extend it to being a model. You can actually do all kinds of different things. I don't know if you're thinking that way or not, but if you're not, you should. And still keep the health aspect, because there's a lot of women that I know that comes through the Y, think highly of you and the way you carry yourself. And when you have your exercise clothes on, or I seen you with your gym stuff, you still look great. So this is something that I had to ask you. The last question, and this is something I would like you to really elaborate on, is how can you actually help other nonprofits like ourselves to make it an easier transition within the health world if they want to partner up with the YMCA? Okay.
So I'll just, I do want to approach and thank you for your compliments as far as, the leadership and things like that, the quality that you see within me. But, I have a strong background in athletics, Division I athlete, USC, Fight On Trojans. Then I played professionally overseas in 3 different countries. So I just think overall, it's opened my eyes to, different states that I've lived in, different areas of the world, and just transitioning that into how other nonprofits can, kind of get their feet wet and things like that. This is my first time in, the nonprofit world. Before I moved to Connecticut, I've been here 3 years, I was in education and, working in a similar environment that services the Hartford area. It was similar environment on the West Coast. So I just think that by really having that passion, really having a detailed plan, really having a focus and a mission, each nonprofit should have that. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I am finishing up my master's in organizational management and leadership, and that has a lot of focuses and concentration on the nonprofit area and how to develop policies and procedures and things like that. So I just think with any nonprofit, you want to make sure that your mission, that mission statement, is something that grabs onto the community and grabs onto the population that you are targeting, because they, with the YMCA, everybody knows the YMCA YMCA is for, you know, strong kids, healthy communities.
Right.
Just our whole motto. And people, you know, back in the day would attach the YMCA with those Christian values and health and fitness and things like that. So I think taking that on a newer nonprofit, really having that mission statement and really putting it out there to the people so that it reaches the people that you're trying to, you know, promote to. So
I'm going to give you an idea. And since my idea is sort of picked apart and stolen in the last 10 years, this is something I have not seen. I read a lot. I read newspaper, magazines, and my family always get on me and says, what is you reading now? I haven't seen any literature in the last, say, 7 years on something of like the Y in that area. And I'm looking for someone to write something, a book or a novel or something of, and I read mostly nonfiction because I'm a nonfiction person, of actually the world of the Y or the Boys and Girls Club or something of a combination of, or comparison contrast of the Girl Scouts, the Boys and Girls Club, the Y, and some other entities that is actually large. I have not seen any documentation. I've seen articles, I've seen some other pamphlets, but not a book. And I'd like somebody to really do some research in this because I think it would actually fly. I think that when you talk to hundreds of kids, regardless of West Coast, East Coast, exactly what is the meaning of the Y 40 years ago and what is the meaning of the Y today? And I have not seen anything like that. I've seen other people trying to mimic other things, but some of the things that the Y and the Boys Club and the Girls Club used to do, they don't do anymore. And this is something that I think it could be lost in transmission of the new kids today. Because when we grew up, we had a foundation, we had a place where we can go, like Jen from the block. She grew up in an area, in an atmosphere like that. But since we moved on from the 1970, 75, 80, it seemed like everything sort of went backwards. And this is something I like to see maybe yourself or somebody or a group of you guys can actually do. You know, something down the road. And maybe you can pick up the torch and says, you know, why not do something like this? This is just a thought.
Right.
But last but not least, this is what I'm going to ask you. Do you think it's possible for you coming back in the next 3 months and give us some statistical and data of exactly the kids, the girls and the boys, the ratio, who's failing, who's not, who's succeeding in education, how some of the programs are working? I'm not trying to target anything. I like to, most of the people that really come on our shows, basically, I do ask them when they come back the second or third time to, you know, quote some statistical stuff that, you know, where there's needed help, maybe I can help you towards pointing in the right direction. Some people out there can actually make the program even better. We raise money, we raise foundation money, and the bottom goal, the top goal is, for me, is how many kids we really reach, how many kids we help, and how many kids actually come back and say, hey, Miss Tiffany, hey, Mr. Sam, I'd like to come back and help you, or I need some more additional help. MC Square, we had over 130 plus kids come through our program since 2000, 2001. Out of the 130 something kids, we probably lost about 3 or 4 kids. They're not dead, it's just that they fell out of the system. And hopefully they're doing well, but most of the kids that actually came through our program or mentor program is doing well. Some went on to higher education, some went on to start their own business, some went on to got married and moved out of the state. But I do hear from them periodically, and the good thing about it is they're not in jail, they're not dead, they're not in drugs, and they're moving forward. How long did it take them to get to the mountaintop, as Martin Luther King would say, is in God's hands, but they're all doing well. And this is really our goal. This is something, when you deal with health and wellness, I'm pretty sure that it's not so much they came through the wise doors, it's that what can I do from a Tiffany Archibald standpoint? Because a lot of people says, hey, you know, Tiffany's not here today. She's helping somebody else. I wish she was here. And you have a lot of older people that come through that know you and talk about you. Especially this older guy comes in. I don't know you. He's an older white guy, and I see him every morning, and it's like he said, well, Tiffany's not here right now, and he walks around. He's still moving. I think you know what I'm talking about. And I forget his name. He's a jolly old guy, and he talks about you a lot. And he says, well, she's going to be in at 9, 10 o'clock. I'm pretty sure of it. I'm going to see her then. But the joy and the excitement of actually meeting new people every day and membership is something that I get excited about myself when people come through our doors. We have a few more minutes. Anything that you want to elaborate on, or anything you'd like to say to the viewers that let them come down to the Y or the membership or whatever?
Yes, our membership is definitely growing, and that's fantastic. We're seeing a lot of new faces, whether it's the lunchtime crowd, the business crowd, the morning crowd, the business crowd, or we with St. Joe's being built above us, we have so many students and things, and that's a fresh environment to have. But I do want to take the time to talk about our Live Strong at the YMCA, our cancer survivor program. We actually just had graduation last Wednesday, and this program, when I tell you that it's life-changing, it's not only life-changing for the cancer survivors, but it's also for myself as the intake specialist, the assessment specialist, the trainer. I developed the curriculum, all that. Just seeing the progress that these individuals made who have had so much taken from them, whether it's physically body parts and having mastectomies and things like that, or but we have had 3 sessions already. We average about 12 to 16 individuals per session. So this is a completely free program. It's a 3-month program for cancer survivors and any spouses or support system people that they have. For any cancer survivor, yes. You are considered a cancer survivor from the day of diagnosis. We have individuals, we had one guy, and it's about that fight and it's about that determination. He was going through chemo, radiation, and still coming and participating in the classes. So we meet twice a week for an hour and a half. We do a physical component, and we also do a spiritual, just kind of uplifting portion. Each week is different. We have health coaches come in, we have nutritionists come in, the whole gamut of how these cancer survivors can start to rebuild their lives, rebuild their bodies, rebuild their minds, and also create new relationships and new friendships. So it's just so phenomenal to see the progress that these people make in the 3 months that we work with them personally one-on-one, and then after the program they graduate on and become members, and we still kind of guide them through when they come in, because they have that special place in our heart. So if there are any cancer survivors out there in the greater Hartford area, because we have the program at our downtown branch, we have it at our Farmington Valley, our Wheeler, which is in Plainville, and our Arlington YMCA, the Indian Valley YMCA. So if they're in that area, or if they're right here downtown, I would just tell them to please call the YMCA, contact me. I'm the person who sets up the intakes. I complete the intakes and the assessments. And
let them know. Let them know your phone number and everything. Let them know.
Okay, it's 860-522 YMCA 9622, so 522-9622, and my extension is 2323. You can call me directly, set up an intake. It's not a long process. We get your doctor's approval, and we're going to be starting up in mid-January. So this is the perfect time, since we graduated one group last week, and so for the next month or so I'll be doing intakes and taking calls and getting people in to start the program. They can have a second chance at life, a third chance, a fourth chance, however they're looking at it. So,
well, I'm going to end on this note in a sense that we have like a minute left. You're from USC. When John Wooden came to the Rutgers to pick up or interview Ferdinand Louis Alcindor, I've been with UCLA since 1968 when I was a little kid.
I'm sorry.
You know, so next time.
Sorry about that.
The next time that we have an interview, you got to wear your USC stuff. I got to wear my UCLA stuff.
Yeah, that's one of the, there's rivalries out there, but that one is, I can remember times where, me and my teammates, we would put on our full USC, sweats and go down to UCLA campus, and we just, post up and, pick their favorite restaurants and just kind of hang out. So yeah, it's a great tradition and a friendly rivalry, especially with us being so close. UCLA, Westwood, and Los Angeles, they're neck and neck. You get off a couple exits, so I think that also fuels the fire of that rivalry.
Right. So they soon play in a few weeks with they got the guy Shabazz Muhammad and they got Carl Anderson from New Jersey. So I'm always watching. Matter of fact, they come on late, like 11, 12 o'clock. Yeah. Well, another series of Education One. Thanks for tuning in. If you're looking at Education One on the internet or YouTube, please type in on your computer, accesstv.org. Just type in Education One, and you will see the lovely Tiffany Archibald for this week. Again, if it's Tuesday, it's Education One. I see you on the internet. Have a blessed day. Thank you very much.